Peace. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Foul Playland. As always, I am Sir Foul Player of Brooklyn, New York City. Sorry I had to get my show off a little later than expected. I had to sell a piece of furniture prior to getting on here, and I couldn't fit into the lady's car. But worked out, and I'm here with you now. Wanted to talk about election talk as much as I could prior to the event taking place in 6 days. Yeah, 6 days. We have our election coming up here in America, and I want to get as much conversation going prior to just a foray as far as helping myself, honestly, in regards to my own show. I mean, I want to make this show in the future be one in which anybody can carry on conversation, and we'll go from there, work backwards from there. But I do want to get as much election stuff out there. I do want people to show where they stood prior to, not to try to throw egg on nobody's face afterwards. I mean, even if we have the misfortune of Kamala winning the election, and should she do really terrible, which would be the case, I wouldn't go around doing too much of a I told you so to my peoples that unfortunately vote Democrat every election cycle, like I did too, man. I mean, I would want Democrats to win every election cycle, even before I started voting. But now I see what it is. I'm not sure whether I'm going to vote or not. I'm making that very clear. I do at this stage, and there's pretty much not much that Kamala could say at this stage of the game that would make me want her to win. But at this stage of the game, yes, I do want Trump to win. I'm very cognizant. I mean, like, could Trump switch it up like when he gets into office? Any man could switch it up when they get into office. Any woman could switch it up when they get into office. But I do like the fact that he's very clear as to what he wants for this country to be. He makes it very clear as to the policy points that he wants to put into play when he gets into office. He makes it very clear where he stands on policy in relation to migration, in relation to giving money abroad, in the relation to international policy. He makes things very clear and very easy. Now, the thing is, too, that these things are very clear and very easy to rectify, to deal with. A lot of times I would listen to politicians talk politics when I was young, and they would explain answers, and I would, being agreeable at times, like just say, oh, well, what if he's right? Or what if that idea that he's wants to put into play could actually work down the line? What if these things that he's saying about this other politician are true? You give people the benefit of the doubt, but at this stage, I mean, I'm a grown man. I'm in the last, what I think is the last half of my life, hopefully. And I say hopefully because I don't want it to be the last quarter or the last third of my life or the last week of my life, like any of you feel as well. But now that I'm an older person, I look at things outside the specter of emotion, and it makes things very clear. The things that you could defend are the things that are right around you in your home right now. I mean, if that home right now is not the way you want it to look, I mean, then the things around you should be your inspiration to do better. At the end of the day, I mean, people are going to stop you from doing better, whether that be your neighbor next door, if you want to say another race is stopping you from doing better, I mean, you could debate that notion. But ultimately, I knew that I had to do better in much of what I did. And I didn't really employ that notion up until recently. This doofy picture that you guys see in my thumbnail, I mean, I was different politically even when I took that picture. Like when I took that picture, I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I wasn't a Trump dude then. Uh, and I told you guys I became a Trump dude like 2019, 2018, or as far as wanting them to win. And I could speak on both sides of the coin too. I mean, it's not like I just came to wanting to defend the republic as a policy for myself. Not like I came to that recently. I mean, it's not like I came to that recently. Like when for instance, when the George Floyd shit was popping off, like I ain't know where to stand on that. Not like I knew that was wrong, 100%, but I ain't knew where I stood on that. Like, all right, like should we let our own shit get burnt down in the process? Because not George Floyd. Like at that stage, I already knew like a lot of that shit was some sort of psyop. And if you want to, me to explain that, I could. But with the other homie that got taken out in Missouri, that young cat, when that was happening, before that, I mean, like if there was a riot in my hood, let's say, not that there were many, or like the only riots that we had in my hood was when our sports teams won, or when Tito Trinidad won a boxing match. Like the Puerto Ricans would go out there and just wreck shit, flip cars over. Sometimes they'd even beat up cops. Like we actually, in my neighborhood, a little trivia, Sunset Park, Brooklyn is one of the only neighborhoods in probably all New York City. And we're an unknown neighborhood for the most part, outside of that stupid movie that has nothing to do with my neighborhood. But we actually forced New York City to give us a Puerto Rican parade that was in our neighborhood on the same day of the Puerto Rican parade that you see in New York City. We have the after party pretty much, and that shit used to get reckless every year. Like it would be 1,000 people plus, mostly dudes, and we would just wreck everything. When cops were there, they wouldn't even stop you. Like they would just let you be, like fucking because they knew what was deal. Like they had to break it up when every cop would show up, and you're talking about hundreds of cars would have to show up, like with riot gear, like to break it up. So anyway, like to circumvent that, they actually gave us an official parade in my neighborhood. Now, when I would do the unofficial parade where people would break shit up, I mean, I was causing all kinds of havoc. Like, and not just breaking shit up. I mean, like fucking skirmishes, you name it. I mean, so I mean, like that kind of expression, I would partake in it myself. I like tearing shit up. But when the brother got, I think it was like gunned down by the police in Missouri. At that stage, I didn't really give a shit, like in terms of like, all right, like these people are like burning down like Missouri. I think it's justified, like that they're burning it down, like fucking because I know how it would be. Like, I mean, and like with what I'm hearing like in the media in regards to this case, which I probably forgotten every bit of it. Like I don't even know Duke's name. And at that time, you're so busy at work, you really can't like dig in politically. Like, so when it came time to 2020 and like those riots rolled around, like at that stage, I'm like already starting to listen to Trump. Trump is not like how you guys paint him out to be. Like it wasn't like he was anti like fucking riot, like, or like you guys made him like the symbol of anti everything you guys were demonstrating. Meanwhile, like I mean, Missouri at the city where that popped off, I think was a liberal city too. But by the time with the George Floyd shit popped off, like I mean, I wasn't fucking with no George Floyd shit, not one bit. Like fucking I knew that was the next wave of like get pissed off that they were gonna try to employ. As it was popping off. Do I think that George Floyd got done dirty? Of course he did, like without question. But and I will also say, I mean, like you gotta be candid too. I mean, like shit pops off where cops murk somebody where you don't get as much fanfare, as much media attention. So I mean, when the media chooses to amplify one. I mean, I usually choose to not get emotional about it. I look at things in a very different fashion. In any case, I don't get emotional about much of these things. Again, I'm not voting as of now. Let me read some of the comments. Showtime, yeah. Good looks for coming through, Mark Nash. Again, love that jacket, bro. I know we disagree on politics, but just stop by to hit the like button. TTYL. I don't know what a lot of the acronyms mean, but much love, Mark Nash. Please, if you guys are listening to this now or on the replay, subscribe to my brother Mark Nash TV. Great channel, and he's very committed as far as this YouTube shit. But when 2020 rolled around, I definitely at that stage was anti burning down the hood because it started popping off in New York left and right. I mean, it wasn't limited to wherever it popped off with George Floyd. I mean, I think that was like Minnesota or some shit. That was some white state, or no, it was in Wisconsin. I don't know. Again, I'm not like fucking totally schooled on George Floyd because I honestly could give two shits, bro. George Floyd, what like wasn't a dude like that was gonna set me ablaze. As I mean, yes, like the fact that like cop murked him out, that shit, it is wrong, yes, but I don't believe nothing I see like as a principle. Not that I don't believe the George Floyd shit, but I wasn't overly emotional about the shit. I mean, sue me. But at that time, like right when that George Floyd shit like popped off, like a couple months before that, it's probably like when I first started even listening to Trump. So I'm new to this party, but my whole life, as far as liberal politics go, I would outflank any person who's on the left now in terms of my politics when I was young in the 90s, late 90s. Since I've been in tune politically, a lot of y'all got put in tune politically in 2020. And I could tell by the way y'all talk. A lot of y'all got in tune after Trump came into office. I could tell by how y'all talk. Emotional. Like I'm divorced from emotion because I know what it is. And I look at things like, all right, I'm being lied to out the gate. So if I'm being lied to, I gotta fine comb through everything and then see what's bullshit. And usually what the mainstream media is pumping and the accepted narrative that's pumped everywhere, big tech, major publications, Wall Street Journal, you name it. I look at them as if they're all lying and I need them to prove me wrong as a principle. I don't like, and I know a lot of y'all like read headlines as a principle. Like y'all will debate against something that will benefit y'all, like, you know, when and then I get like emotion and headlines thrown in my face. But we gotta siphon through that stuff, especially as quote unquote minorities. Like, you know, we've been voting the same way in perpetuity since I was before I was even born. At least the 70s, we've been voting strictly liberal. And I mean, you can make a real strong argument that we haven't done worse as a people in any portion of time from the 70s till present day. Name me another 60 years in which we've been doing much worse. We hate each other. Our women hate us. Our men hate our women. How are we doing better? I mean, like, if anybody wants to come through and contend any of these notions that I put forth, you're welcome to do so. But wanted to talk about the topic at hand that I'm presenting, because if you guys were living under a rock, unless you were living under a rock, you guys may have heard that Trump is racist towards Puerto Ricans, a bigot. One of his speakers, of the many speakers that he had at his MSG rally, was a comedian named Tony, some Jewish last name. He runs a podcast called Kill Tony, and that fella made a joke regarding the island of my people. The island of my people, Puerto Rico. in which he referred to it as an island of floating garbage. I don't like people taking shots at my island. Do I get butthurt? Absolutely not. I mean, if I would have, like for instance, like that fella was a Jewish fella. I believe somebody mentioned that that Kill Tony fella may be of small hat origin, if you will. Now, in a normal scenario, in the scenario which Sir Foul Player of Brooklyn would desire, Sir Foul Player of Brooklyn, in a scenario in which the island of his people is insulted, he could then return an insult back towards this Kill Tony fella regarding his race or regarding whatever. You know, I like lowbrow shit. I like insult. I like you insult me, I insult you, and neither one of us is censored. I'm cool with those rules, you know. But we could have a debate on that. Could I have been able to insult that fella's country or race with impunity? Probably not. Absolutely not. And that's what we got to get rid of, bro. I don't like any censorship. You know, not like, oh, I don't like a racism censorship, like, because anything could be looked at as racisms, racisms. You know, I like no censorship, and we'll start from there. You could insult Puerto Ricans till your kids have grandkids. Fucking up. But I need to be able to clap back. Anybody should be able to clap back. You know? Like, I don't want I was watching the this Black Summit regarding it was like run by like D.L. Hughley. It's supposed to be like a town hall type shit. That shit is so goofy. It was basically a propagandizing for Kamala and guilting black dudes into voting for her. But I mean, I hope you guys watch it as well. Watch all the Kamala press that you can. I mean, there's not much more you can know about Trump besides like if you heard something regarding him that's been known historically, like the Charlottesville comments. That's a bunch of BS. Go look at the 10-minute clip, or maybe 2 minutes before he said the comment, 2 minutes after he said the comment, and listen to it the whole way through, and then you tell me how you feel. Most of the stuff that's been hyperventilated about the man has been way, way, way exaggerated. We know everything we need to know bad about Mr. T. I implore you guys, especially if you're voting for your girl, Kamala, especially if you're considering voting for your girl, Kamala, at the very least, look at all the media she's put out from the time that she was announced as a candidate, because there's not much. I made a point of this yesterday. You could probably get through it on an afternoon or within the span of a day. If you get the cold or a flu in these next couple of days, and God sits you down where you have to watch TV and Lord of the Rings, like a marathon or some shit, watch all of Kamala's speeches and all her press clippings. There's not that much of it. Since she's been announced, she's probably has a total of 10 hours worth of press, give or take. Whereas Trump had, like, you know, how he talked to Joe Rogan the other day. There's tons of times where Trump is blabbing on and on and on and on about God knows what, in addition to policy. Now, when he, in a span of like an hour or two, says one thing wrong, the media is going to run with it and let you know. The media is not going to let you know any W's that he has, though. So, I mean, if you want to go research his W's, I mean, that's fine. I don't like, but at the very minimum, like, do research his losses and see if that's true or not. But also, more importantly, if you're considering voting for Kamala, go research her. Like, see what's up. See what she has to offer you. Especially so-called minorities, especially the brothers. I mean, right now you're getting disparaged for not voting for her. You may be getting guilt tripped by granny or your moms or your wife about voting for her. And like they're making it seem like your allegiances should lie with the Democrats or with Kamala, which is largely run by white people too. I mean, there's probably more lily whites that run Democrats than there are lily whites that run Republicans. I can probably assure you of that. Ain't no Democrats on a political level being listened to that are Latin, that are black. Yeah, you're gonna have a few mascots like an AOC that are bags of air who just look sexy, and look the part, make it look like there's a Latina, I'm a Latina, like that's you'll get some of that. But as far as policymakers, or no, you got none of that. That are, I mean, please show me the people that really run the DNC who are black and Latin. Name them if you're here. I mean, I know I had 3 viewers up until the last couple of minutes, but now I got 4. If the 4th person wants to dispute the notion of the movers and shakers in the Democratic Party who are Spanish or black, and like name me all their accomplishments, because I remember AOC and the squad were opposed to there was something that Pelosi wasn't cool with, and they bowed down immediately. Oh, it's because we got to get Trump out of there, so we can't make any demands now. I think it was healthcare for all that they all bowed down on. Just like Bernie Sanders bows down on healthcare for all, or anything that the Democrats propose. They all like stand in line. They all vote the same way. They're a mob. They're a mob. I mean, but if you believe the mob, which has total control of the media 100%, otherwise you would be hearing a ton of positive stuff in addition to negative stuff of Trump. Everything you hear about that the mob is telling you that runs the media is all negative regarding Trump. Everything that the same mob that runs the media, which also runs big tech, hates Trump. That same mob runs the Democrat Party. They hate Trump. I have enough people telling me about their Trump hate, and you do too. Come on. Let's be real, bro. Anything you see on TV, my peoples, has been anti-Trump by and large, with the exception of Fox. Most of y'all don't listen to Fox anyway. So are y'all cool with living in an echo tunnel? Are y'all cool voting along the lines of the rainbows? Is that what we're doing? Are y'all voting along the lines of the white perverts who want to read to children while they're dressed up as women? The Democrats are alienating black men and guilting them and saying y'all shouldn't be asking for shit leading up to this election. Yes, Trump is the worst person in the world, black man, but please don't ask for anything to take as a negotiation that'll benefit you in the hopes of getting rid of this black man. Just line up. Vote the way your mom did historically, black man, and let's get this man out of there, and don't ask for anything else. But I looked at the Latin plan that our girl Cammy has offered us, and it's littered with good stuff for Latin people. And it's actually on my community page. I believe I put the plan that was proposed for black people, which is the same plan that was proposed for everybody, same income tax credit that everybody else gets. But the Latin plan actually had incentives for us growing our families. Isn't that strange? Meanwhile, we're getting other sets of women that are used as the mascots for abortions. If they're not the mascots, I mean, abortions are popping off more in the hood. I mean, I see more clinics in the hood per capita than I do anywhere else. I don't see many abortion clinics in lily white neighborhoods. They're in the cut if they're there, or when they're there. The ones I see in my hood, I mean, 43rd Street and 3rd Avenue, the one in Bowery in Manhattan, the one, damn, what's that part in the Bronx? And every one of these ones that I mentioned, I only see black and Latin women there, or going into it, coming out of it. So stop fronting, bro. Like, if that's your principal goal you want to fight for, I mean, you say that and stop getting emotional about it. Get your emotion out of it, but don't guilt other people that look like you into feeling away because you're trying to be cute and frame things in a sense where you try to guilt people into voting for Democrats. If you were capping for any other shit, bro, if you were capping for Bloods, or some shit, that's different. If you were capping for a corporation, I could see that. You were capping for your job or some shit, we could do it. I've seen it happen. But we got Latinos and black dudes getting emotional over Democrats, my peoples, over Democrats. This party that'll alienate you for cross-dressers. Is what we doing? Anyways, let me go to the Kill Tony and the joke that was made regarding Puerto Ricans. This Kill Tony fella mentioned the fact that, or referred Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. Again, didn't think the joke was great. Don't like it. If I saw him, I mean, I probably wouldn't tell him shit because you're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want. I mean, he ain't insulting me personally. And Puerto Rico, I mean, you guys never been to Puerto Rico. If you did, you've been to San Juan. I'm going to historic San Juan with my wife. Like, no. Like, Puerto Rico's fucking hood. Like, I'm from the boonies in Puerto Rico. Like, fucking, and that shit is hood. You crazy, bro? Like, dudes in Puerto Rico will rob you for your car, shoot up your car, and burn the shit and forgot why they shot you in the first place. Like, they don't even rob the car. Shit is bad out there, bro. I mean, look up Puerto Rico shooting at any point. Like, fucking up. Look up Puerto Rico highway at, like, a drive, and that's all graffiti. Shit is hood as hell. Crazy, bro. Not saying that, I mean, do I want Puerto Rico to get better? Absolutely. Do I think that it's some sort of pre-genetic disposition for Puerto Ricos to pop off the way they do in Puerto Rico and in New York? No. I don't think no people are pre-genetically disposed to behave in any sort of fashion. But, I mean, is Puerto Rico a fucking beaming light of fucking salsa music? And no, bro, you crazy? Puerto Rico's not safe one bit. Bugging. But and Puerto Rico could get a ton better. But and Puerto Rico is largely fucking Democrat. Like, Puerto Rico is more liberal than New York City is, bro. Kidding me? Highly mismanaged. And we have a landfill problem. So part of what he's saying is actually true. However, Biden gave a comment in where he was referencing Trump supporters as individuals and referring to them as if as garbage. The press immediately after tried to switch it up and say that he meant something else, and like they largely do whenever Biden screws up, which is very, very frequently. Again, Biden's not that old to be fucking up as often as he does. I know people that are, my good friend Carol is 96 years old, and she's way sharper than Biden, and she's a big time Kamala supporter. She'd make a better candidate than Kamala or Biden together. Well, but she's 96, 95, and she's way mentally sharper than either one of these clowns. But whenever the Biden has brain rot moment on TV, the press usually covers up for him, makes it seem like it's not a big deal. Oh, he meant this. You'll never have them do that treatment for Trump, but we can move on with that. But he referred to Trump supporters as garbage. And the only reason that they even try to back off of that notion and why the White House try to correct that is because we're so close to an election. And they probably think that there's any semblance of a chance that there's some sort of crossover votes that may go from Trump to Kamala, which is impossible. But they also know that they have a large contingent of black men who they've been trying to guilt, incentivize, shame, lionize, you name it. They've been trying to guilt them into voting for Kamala. And for the first time in history, seemingly, black men in waves are vocally showing their support to Trump. Now, I'm pretty sure that they didn't want to get any sort of a muddy picture so close to an election, and the White House try to backtrack on that statement made by Joe Biden. And You even have some copium. Copium is basically when people try to cope as a drug. So they'll use a bullshit ass excuse. I mean, I got to deal through gallons of copium every time I go on these panels and discuss politics. But however, Biden made that statement about Trump supporters being garbage. The media then tried to come back and say, oh, well, it's not Biden who's running. It's not Biden who's running. It's Kamala who's running. Because they know that this is a bad look for Kamala. The fact that her boss, the guy who she's running under, or the guy who she worked under for the past 4 years, made this statement regarding half the country, if not more, as being garbage. Now, do you see Trump supporters up in arms and in fact, I mean, you don't see Trump supporters crying about shit. Like, I can't fuck with the crying class no more. Sorry. And crying class is not limited to a race. In fact, the crying class is mostly run by liberal white women. I can't listen to people that sound or repeat the talking points of liberal white women. Can't do it no more, friends. Sorry, my peoples. But you ain't see conservatives crying about it. Not one bit. And I think men of all colors, not just limited to black, are attracted to that. Like, attracted to the notion that, listen, like, people are doing entirely too much bitching. And when it comes time to put up or shut up, I mean, they want me to align with people that I've been insulting my whole life in terms of cross-dressers. People that my granddad made fun of from Jump Street his whole life. We've been making ranking on that community as minorities historically. We still do. We just can't do it on social media because we know we'll be censored. We just can't put that outwardly because we know how judgy and fucking up in arms people are. But we got to get away from that, my people. But the whole whataboutism arguments that liberals and the people that push liberal white women talking points purport or utilize, it's played out on all ends. Nobody likes it no more. Biden played out. Kamala played out. She was never in. These people offer no substance. And the whole game of guilting me into voting for these lunatic leftist people, it's insanity. And some people always say, well, racism. Listen, I know people that are outright racist, bro. Straight up and down. I know Israelites that are outright racist. Straight up and down. I knew white people that are racist. Straight up and down. Their existence or their thought process, unless they could fucking wield power against you, is not going to stop your flow. You got to set yourself up to, as a life principle, as a man. This is a man talk. You got to set yourself up to where no matter what they throw at me, they can't take me out. Not, oh, well, whenever one of my peeps get gunned down, or if I were to get shot, then we got a gun problem. No gun problems. There's a lack of gunfights. Shit shouldn't be no shootings. There should be gunfights. Or you can't tell me, oh, I'm not safe where I live, but also disarm me in the same motion as a policy. Meanwhile, I know there's rampant gun use in my hood, like popping off all the time. You get caught randomly in any hood, especially with these stupid young motherfuckers nowadays. And you want to disarm me in the midst of that as a policy? Nah. Democrats want Black and Latin people to be in a forever victim class. a forever dependent class, a forever complaint train. Are things unjust in the world? Absolutely. But what like do you think I should be having white people make the world a nicer place for me as a policy? Like why wait? Why should I wait? If you want to make the note, if you want to contend the notion, like a lot of times I'll hear like people say like try to make it seem as if at their core these people are out to get us, and it could be. But what, you want me to try to change their minds and convince them not be out to get us? What if they're out to get us covertly, like they usually are? Or what if they say they're not out to get us now? Or what if they say they're guilty of their past crimes, like slavery, and clean up their act for a few years and then switching up on us again? Like, I don't want these people to change. I want them to stay exactly how they are. I want us to change. We could take back our communities in one afternoon. As far as completely wiping drugs out, I mean, I live in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Right next to my neighborhood is Borough Park, Jewish neighborhood. Borough Park don't have a drug problem. If it is, it's extremely on the low. There's another white neighborhood not too far from us, Bensonhurst. Bensonhurst don't have a rampant drug problem. Why my neighborhood got a drug problem? Because we let it be. We let like the most fired up dumb motherfuckers set the trends up until they get killed and replaced by another fired up dumb motherfucker. Trust me, I was a fired up dumb motherfucker myself. I gotta stop cursing, man. I start cursing and like I see my my very low numbers as if drop in real time. It's franchising. But listen, don't believe any of the hype you're sold on, especially nowadays. It's all BS. I'm not saying that in defense of a candidate. It's BS in terms of your future. The current minority class in this country are being replaced by a poorer minority class. A poorer minority class, such as these new Venezuelans that are arriving, that they're going to be telling you, black man, and you, Puerto Rican man, pretty soon, if these people are allowed to stay in power like Kamala, if we continue down the path of liberal border policies, including that shitty ass border bill that the liberals proposed, which thankfully Trump was smart enough to advise the MAGA Republicans not to sign in Congress. Yes, that shit bill. If you guys want to continue down this this route of we need to help poorer people abroad because there are more poor people out there. Meanwhile, we're going to ravage the economies around the world and then bring these poor people to America and to the Western world because they exist and they're poorer and we need to help everything poor. But these people ain't talking about helping poor black people out or throwing them a bone. I mean, you could do like with the money that we spent on migrants in the past couple years alone. I mean, I think in New York alone, they probably could have solved homelessness for hundreds of thousands of black people that are living on the streets as veterans in New York City, of Puerto Ricans that are living on the streets as veterans in New York City. We couldn't use the money for that. Oh, no, but it's Republicans' fault because they bust them in. Right. But let me let you guys go. I will be back here tomorrow to talk politics again and to talk discourse about our girl Cami. In addition to Mr. T, I know this doesn't help my traction in terms of this platform, but I'm gonna be here nevertheless. Also want to do more of my cat stuff. If you guys don't know, I work with trying to get cats, stray cats fixed, and what do you call those? Orphan, like stray cats, like kittens, whatnot. Like so I'm busy with that stuff too, but I want to do more videos about that stuff. I help other animals too, like hurt animals and whatnot, as much as I could. Like, but actually, before when I would do it, I was paying for these things out of pocket. Now I'm still paying for things out of pocket, but not as much. My county is actually helping me. Like if I gotta get a cat fixed, like they'll pay for her to get fixed, so that's cool. But I'm gonna be showing that stuff more on my platform, in addition to my political discourse and hood talk too. I want to start talking more of that stuff. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. I also hope that the Yankees lose. If they play tonight, to hell with the Yankees. But with that, I'll be leaving. Please support me. If you came onto this channel at random, like, share, subscribe. If you come back here any other instance, do comment, and I love to have discourse. If you want to jump onto the platform at times, I'm also with that too. I really cool about putting my link out there, so long as you don't screw my shit up by showing a nasty body part or something. You're always welcome to come on to the Foul Playland with Sir Foul Player of Brooklyn. But with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll be back here tomorrow. Do help me by sharing, and subscribing to this channel. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Peace.